All right. Ms. Conway, good morning. This is Judge Middleton. Your lawyer, Mr. Truckee, is with us. He is in the conference room, so he can speak privately with you. This is the time for your pre-exam conference in a charge of resisting and obstructing a police officer. It's alleged that on September 16th, that you did resist or obstruct Deputy Detective Jason Oughton from the Sheriff's Department. You're charged as a fourth habitual offender, which makes that punishable, I think, by up to 15 years imprisonment. Mr. Ross Truckee was appointed to represent you in this matter. Mr. Marvin offers attempted resisting and obstructing with no supplementation, meaning it's a 1-year misdemeanor and a 1-count.
Buckle up, guys. Today we're diving into the wild case of James Walker, a sovereign citizen arrested for carrying a fake badge and a loaded gun. From the jump, this man walks into court with swagger, spouting off about constitutional loopholes and his right to travel. The judge isn't fazed. She's calm but firm, immediately challenging Walker's bizarre legal theories. You can feel the tension mount as Walker tests the court's patience with every word. He came in ready for a showdown, and he's definitely getting one.
All right. Well, you've got 3 retail frauds pending: 241842, 241843, and 241847. There's 3 of them in short order. They're set for last pretrial for August 17th. I let you out on a personal recognizance bond because I had to. You'd been in custody for 28 days. There was a plea offer to resolve all of those. You declined the plea offer, and I gave you a PR bond. In fact, I think you declined the plea offer so you could get a PR bond. Anyway, you got out. Now, shortly after you got out, you got rearrested on this resisting and obstructing charge. Bond is $1,000 cash or surety in that case. The matter is set for a pre-exam conference today. There is an offer to plead to a misdemeanor to resolve that case and 1 misdemeanor to resolve all of your other cases. Mr. Truckee, would you like to talk privately with her in a breakout room?
All right, guys. Now things get heated. Walker claims he's not James Walker, but a secured party creditor representing a fictional entity. The courtroom pauses, processing that nonsense, and the judge isn't having it. She shuts him down with legal facts, but Walker doubles down with obscure sovereign jargon. Every time she tries to move forward, he pulls out another fantasy clause. You can practically see the court reporter thinking, what even is this? Welcome to sovereign land. Logic doesn't live here.
I can't exactly tell what it is she allegedly did in the R&O. There's not any.
Well, Ross says you need to see the video. It lasts all of about 30 seconds.
There's no bond information. Well, here it is. Let's take a look.
So I guess I'm going down to Dave's office. We'll all stand around and watch the video.
No trespass.
Is her issue drugs or mental health?
Yes. And yes. Yeah, she wouldn't leave when directed, which I guess could be resisting, obstructing, and then she pulled away. It ain't much of a resist and obstruct.
I mean, I was looking at the number of times that they had investigated previously from, I think it was from Walmart.
Well, she is struggling. 43 seconds.
Here's where the legal circus kicks into overdrive. Walker refuses to answer questions, claiming the court has no jurisdiction. He tosses in Latin phrases like magic spells, hoping to stall the process. But the judge? She keeps it tight, dismissing every delusion with surgical precision. You'll notice how she leans forward, tone steady, as if talking to a defiant teenager. The longer this goes on, the clearer it gets. Walker isn't here to cooperate. He's here to perform.
A couple times the graduation dates, and maybe you're just feeling wistful.
No, I remember when he was in school. My wife was teaching there then, and he went to school with my kids.
A little hard for us to remember that far back.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Well, I always heard Plato was a wonderful teacher.
It was Socrates.
It was Aristotle. Plato wasn't a teacher, but Aristotle was apparently one of Alexander the Great's teachers.
Yeah.
All right, we return to Miss Conway, which is the felony file, attempt of resisting and obstructing. Had an opportunity to speak with your attorney, Mr. Truckee. Mr. Truckee, what's the situation here?
Mrs. Conway, it appears, is not accepting the offer today and would like to be heard about the possibilities of a PR bond.
All right. I'm going to set this for a prelim for October 8th.
Heart's wild. Walker refuses to enter a plea and instead demands his common law rights. The judge warns him, play games, and you'll be watching the rest of this show from a jail cell. Still, he smirks and tosses out phrases like private citizen and traveling man. It's not just a legal strategy, it's an identity. And when the prosecutor starts speaking, Walker tries to overtalk her. Classic distraction tactics. But that judge? Stone cold unbothered. She's building her case brick by brick.
Surety. Generally, I don't rule on a bond until the time of the prelim, but Mr. Truckee, what do you want me to know about bond?
Ms. Conway reports to me several medical concerns that she has for herself, that she feels are going untreated while in custody. For that reason, she requests a bond on her own recognizance so she can seek treatment.
Response, Your Honor.
Yes.
Your Honor, I think the court has let her out on her own recognizance previously, and she's failed to comply with terms and conditions and gotten other violations. And
I'm not sure she can hear you. You're leaned back.
Oh,
You're not
okay.
speaking very loud.
And secondarily, Your Honor, I think that with the substantial substance abuse issues, maybe she's better off continuing to remain in custody.
All right, Ms. Conway, you've got multiple cases pending, and I'm watching you disintegrate before my eyes. I first met you a couple of years ago when you came down here to St. Joseph County, and you are withering away.
Okay, now Walker's realizing the court isn't playing along. When asked basic questions, he stalls, spins, and spirals into sovereign gibberish. But the judge keeps things grounded, even as he questions the court's very existence. The prosecution highlights his prior behavior and the fake badge, a clear sign he's trying to impersonate authority. His defense? That he's traveling, not driving, and doesn't need a license. This courtroom isn't a stage, but Walker sure thinks he's the headline.
You have 3 retail second degrees, which there was an offer to resolve everything, which you declined so you could get a PR bond. I let you out on a PR bond on September 6th. I said, where are you going to go? And
I got plenty of money to stay at motel rooms.
say that again.
I have plenty of money to stay at motel rooms. Where do you think I was at?
I didn't understand anything you said. Maybe a more
I have
reflection of
plenty
me.
of money to stay at motel rooms. Where do you think I was at before I went to my grandma Bingham's house?
Yeah, you're homeless and you're not welcome at Miller's Mill Road, and they told you.
Yes, I am, actually. All I got asked to is to leave for a minute and come back.
Anyway, this is a felony charge with multiple supplementation. You're homeless. You're struggling with, well, you aren't now. I have a home for you. the jail, but the bond is only $1,000 cash or surety. Magistrate came to see me and said,
Things are unraveling fast now. Walker tries submitting his made-up legal documents, covered in seals and nonsense filings. The judge's patience is thinning. She warns him again about contempt. But instead of backing down, he goes deeper into fantasy law, quoting UCC codes and sovereign amendments. It's like watching someone argue physics with a calculator made of spaghetti. The tension is so thick, even the bailiff's on alert. You know a courtroom's on edge when silence speaks louder.
Illegal. I can't stand long enough to use your telephone. By the place.
no.
So you're telling me you're going to force me to take a plea deal just to get out of jail?
No, I'm not. I'm telling you, you can have a trial on this if you'd like.
I want so you're telling me if I plead guilty, you're going to let me out of jail. Okay, let's plead guilty, and I'll take your what do you call that? 30 days. I'll say, hey, guess what? I'm going to take you back to court. So guess what? I'm going to plead guilty today, and I'm going to take you back to court in 30 days. How about that?
How about we talk about this next Tuesday at 1:00? I'm not sure that she's competent. See how she's doing after a while. I didn't understand most of what she said.
Like Paul says, he doesn't speak Methanese.
But she's not in a mind right now to enter a plea. So motion for bond reduction is continued.
All right, guys, this part's a roller coaster. Walker interrupts the judge, insists on not being under the court's jurisdiction, and even questions if the judge is sworn in. He's grasping for any angle, but the judge flips the script, reminding him this is a criminal proceeding, not a constitutional debate club. At this point, you can feel the court winding up to make a serious decision. Sovereign. Games might buy time, but they don't buy freedom. Not when the facts are...
She's doing next week, but she is homeless, which is how she got in this situation. She was where she wasn't supposed to be. They kept trying to get her to leave. She wouldn't leave. It wasn't much of a struggle.
Well, isn't one of her trespasses at her grandma's?
Oh, there's a bunch of trespasses and then the
grandma's
retail
place.
frauds, and she owes money, and yes, she's not doing well. It goes without saying. All right, Ross, we're down to 2 cases.
I'm going to go talk to Dave quick on both of them.
All right, I'm going to stop the record and the live feed. We've been on here.
This is it, the final stretch. The judge gives Walker one last chance to cooperate. He declines. Boom. Case moves forward without him. The court lays out charges and schedules the next hearing, and Walker just sits there defiant and delusional. You can almost see the realization creeping in. His fantasy world doesn't work in a real courtroom. And just like that, he's another sovereign citizen learning that fiction doesn't beat the law.